Christian, what we'll do is we'll just keep it going for all 4 segments. Or actually, so we're not sound, though. Sound is going to come through here. But just
Welcome to Atlanta Community Profiles, a show about living in Atlanta and purchasing a home here. Atlanta Community Profiles is hosted by Lou Whelan, who will talk to experts who know this ever-changing city and its real estate industry. We'll talk to mayors, community leaders, and residential real estate experts. Now, here's Lou Whelan with this week's Atlanta Community Profiles.
hello there, and welcome to our show. My name is Lou Whelan, and I publish the official relocation guides on Atlanta for the last 25 years. They're called Community Profiles. They're under the auspices of the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta, and we have them for the metro area, one for Gwinnett County in partnership with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce and FMLS, one for North Fulton in partnership with the North Fulton Chamber of Commerce and FMLS, one for Cobb County in partnership with the Cobb Association of Realtors and FMLS, and one for Inside 285. The publications are available at all real estate brokerage firms and most chambers of commerce at no charge. Stop in and pick up a copy. And they're also on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com, along with additional information about the metro area. And I'm also a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties, and my website is louwheeland.com, WIELAND. If I can help you with any of your residential or commercial real estate, I'd be more than happy to do that. And they're on the residential side through May, and we should have through June by next week, but through May, prices for detached homes are up 5%, and prices for attached are up 8%, and the volume of sales for detached is up 4 and flat for attached. So up 4 for detached, flat for attached, in volume of sales. So that's just a quick overview, and please, if I can help you with any additional information on the market, just send me an email, lou@louwheelan.com, WIELAND, lou@louwheelan.com. And every week we interview community leaders, people who are contributing to the community and also have a major investment of time and attention and focus in the metro area. And it is my privilege today to interview such a person who is one of the really brightest guys that I've met in the business. and I've been in the business for quite a while. For 25 years, I've been doing the magazines. Our show guest today is Howard Torbett. Great to have you on the show. Welcome to the show, Howard.
Good being here. Thank you
you
for inviting me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. By way of introduction, Howard is with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Georgia Properties, in the commercial division, and we're handling commercial and investment properties. He has a designation called CCIM, which is Certified Commercial Investment Member, which is a designation recognizing people as the best in the business. That designation qualifies him as an expert in the many disciplines of commercial property development, brokerage, investment analysis. The CCIM designation is widely recognized as the, quote, PhD of commercial real estate, unquote. There are only 13,000, the acronym CCIMs, in the world that is, which is the number of agents in Atlanta, and in just Atlanta, but this is the world, and they account for $87 billion or more, conservatively number, in sales. Howard hosts a monthly seminar in our Gwinnett office called the Real Estate Investment Made Easy, and it's for the realtors and agents in our company, and most of whom are in the Gwinnett office. Howard understands what property to buy, when to buy it, what to do with it while you have it, which property to sell, when to sell it, and how to sell it in order to maximize the return. He maintains a commitment to ethics, education, and being the best and believes firmly in the concept that being the best is the only acceptable form of achievement. And certainly he lives by that in all of his many achievements. And Howard, we're going to be having you on the show, or having you kind of, if not you, or somebody that you might designate as talking about commercial. We're going to segue a little bit more into commercial for a lot of reasons, and one of which is the phenomenal impact and dependence and interdependence of commercial with residential. And I just gave a quick overview on the residential. If you wouldn't mind just telling people what is the status of commercial and investment real estate, as succinctly stated as possible, in Atlanta through this year, through May or June of this year.
The commercial investment real estate in Atlanta really is in good shape. Metro Atlanta is, in the first quarter of this year, a report came out and indicated that Metro Atlanta, was number 5 in the entire country in investment, commercial investment real estate transactions, tied with San Francisco, number 5. Really good. We're in a great market area. Now, that being said, there are certain segments that are doing better than others. One, retail. Everybody's heard about retail. And the retail market is really going through some tough times, with 17 major companies, major national retailers, announcing the first quarter of this year that they were closing over 100 stores and or filing bankruptcy. That includes Macy's, Sears, and that is continuing. And in that same time frame, there is one retailer that said they were going to open up 1,000 new stores, and this year. Now, that's remarkable in this market, because they have found an answer to how to deal with the giant gorilla, Amazon. And that company that's opening up 1,000 stores this year is Dollar General. Now, and one of the things with Dollar General they've figured out is they took a model from Walmart. And Walmart, in one generation, Sam Walton started with Walmart. one store in Benton, Arkansas, and in his generation, he built that into the world's largest retailer. He emphasized three things: price, variety, and convenience. And he knocked the big dog off the market, and that was Kmart. And because he was convenient, because he would go into the smaller communities. Now, Dollar General is using precisely the same model. They're emphasizing price, variety, and convenience. Now, Walmart, after a period of time, came up with the superstore concept. Now, I walk into Walmart looking for something, and I walk in the door, and I look left, and I think, oh, my goodness, do I go left or right? Where do I get what I'm looking for? They are not convenient. So what Dollar General is doing is staying convenient. And the medical office for net lease is really going well. Dollar General also is a net lease investment. There are the film industry is doing magnificent things here in Georgia. Georgia is the number one metro in the entire country for new people moving in. And because of these factors is why the retail or investment is great here. We're really in a great situation.
Well, you could briefly describe, before we go to the next segment, what is a net lease to people? Some people may not know that.
Oh, wow. Net lease is that the tenant pays the taxes, the insurance, the property taxes, the property insurance, and the maintenance on the building, so that the owner of the investment receives the rent, and they don't have to pay anything else. If the taxes go up, Dollar General pays the increase, and or the tenant pays the increase, and that's basically what a net lease investment is.
So we're going to talk about investments in the next segment, and that you'll want to know that definition. And we're going to talk about investment potential for commercial. A lot of people are buying houses, residential, for investment. But we're also going to talk about the impact on other areas of our life from commercial and investment property values, because they do affect every aspect of our life, including jobs. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. I'm Lou Whelan. We're sitting here with Howard Torbett, who is a realtor in our Gwinnett office of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. When I say our, we work in the same company. He's a CCIM, one of only 13,000 in the world, which is the PhD of commercial real estate. And I have the privilege of attending a seminar that he does every month at the company, and this is his workbook. And pretty cool book. It's pretty thorough, and I've learned a lot already. And commercial real estate, the state of commercial real estate, I should say, has a huge impact on every area of the life in our communities. And that's why we're going to be starting to do a lot more shows on commercial real estate, and also as an investment and as an impact, as having an impact on our economy. And if you missed any of this show, it's on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com, in its entirety without commercial interruption. And so, Howard, we have so much to talk about, and we only have a little bit of time, 1 hour show. But the Atlanta Regional Commission, headed by Executive Director Doug Hooker, says that by the 2040, we're going to add 2 million more people to the metro area. And we've had other shows where we talked about the impact on traffic and education and everything, but how does that growth impact commercial and investment real estate in Atlanta going for the next, say, 20 years or 23 years?
It's absolutely positive. One of the things that when we talk about population growth and 2 million, right now, Metro Atlanta is number one in the entire country in terms of population growth. What it's all about for commercial investment is jobs. That's what growth is all about, jobs. Now, if we look at the other side of the job spectrum, where do the jobs come from? And that's from the businesses. Now, those businesses, that's commercial property. Then when we're talking about these people that are moving into Atlanta, they're with their families, they want to do things to better their family. For example, I'm a father, have 4 kids. Love my kids. I've got 11 grandkids, and what I try and do is build things for them. And when we're talking about investments, as I'm trying to do something to better my family and those that are coming along, my kids, my grandkids, soon to have some great grandkids. And see, one of the things that a lot people are groping with right now is college education for their kids. So here's an idea I presented to a gentleman who owned a business, and he said he had two sons. One was 10, one was 8, and he wanted to invest for their future. He wanted to invest in something, and his question was, could he do something so it would help pay for college for them? I said, sure. So what we did is I told him to buy 2 Dollar General stores. It was triple net leased, and I used Dollar General because at the time that was a really good investment, and that would be it's what I recommended. And you take the one kid and you take him out in front of his a building and say, kid number 1, this is going to be your building. Take kid number 2 out to the other building. Say that's going to be your building. Now what you do is triple net leased properties have a and at this time, Dollar General had a 10-year guaranteed lease. They pay the taxes, the insurance, and the maintenance on it. So I told him that put a note on the property that self-amortizes in 10 years. So in 10 years, it's free and clear. Then I told him, and see, one of the things that we as fathers try and do is give things to our kids. Our money is the easiest, but it's the least valuable thing we really have to give. The second most valuable thing we have is our possessions, our treasures, that we've accumulated for a lifetime. And quite often the kids don't want it, don't understand it, don't value it, and so immediately they get rid of it and turn it into what they know, cash. So, and the next most important thing we have to give our kids, and it's really important, is our expertise and experience. And then the greatest thing we have to give our kids is our heart. And so here's what I told him, is that take the picture of each kid in front of his building. Give him a 8x10. Give him a dozen 8x10. I know what he does. He goes to school and shows his buddy, and he shows him the picture and says, hey, this is my building. Then what you tell the kids when you say, kid number one, in order to get your this building, you've got to do something every year to earn it. So year one, you say that Dollar General is going to vacate the lease. We need to figure out how much we can release it for. So get somebody to help you and get kid number one involved in doing a rent survey. Introduce him to the real estate agent who has the expertise to do rent surveys. Next year, you say HVAC system is going out. Let's do a rents. Get a quote on new HVAC. Next year, and I really like this one, is you tell him that you want to, our property taxes are too high. So get him to help you do a presentation to the Board of Equalization to get your property taxes reduced. Now, in 10 years, I guarantee this is what happens. He knows what that building is for. He knows what to do with it. He understands the value. He's not selling it. You know what? It's free and clear. And it's generating about $3,000 in cash every month. He can put himself through school. He says, Dad, I'd like to get another investment. He's got a free and clear piece of property. He could put a note on it for the down payment on another investment. And so that's an idea of that may meet what you're talking about.
And you could do that with residential property too, right? You couldn't.
Absolutely.
You could buy a home as an investment and have tenants. And
absolutely.
As I do, and I've had over the years quite a bit of residential real estate property and commercial that I've invested in and rented, and now I'm down to just one house, but rental property. But it has been a phenomenal investment.
Yeah,
and this creates jobs and impacts the economy. So. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We have a lot more to talk about. We're trying to give you a feel for this aspect of our community. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Lou Whelan, sitting here with Howard Torbett, who is a CCIM, which is equivalent to a PhD in commercial real estate. In the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia property, we have only one such person with that designation, and that would be our guest today, Howard Torbett. And last week our guest was a head of economic development for Clayton County, and he had a CCIM, and he was head of economic development, deputy director of economic development for the largest county in the Chicago metro area. So, I mean, it's a very distinguished designation, and definitely an expert. And we're going to be doing, by the way, some seminars that we'll be inviting the public to this year. We're working on a program for that, and you'll be getting more information. And if you'd like to be on the list to receive an invite, just send me an email, lou@louwhelan.com. But we'll be doing some seminars. Why don't you give them a brief kind of overview on how we're going to do that? I know you have done some of these in the past. So would you just mind giving people a quick overview of how we're going to structure that in terms of providing information?
We'll let everybody know through your program of the times and the locations for the class. It's a pretty extensive program that deals with the fundamentals of investing. I don't focus on trying to teach somebody a particular investment strategy. All the fundamentals, you got to know those before you can pick out a strategy that makes sense for yourself. Like some people buy and flip, some people buy and hold for income. And what we'll do is cover the basics that you need for each of them.
So it'll be, with the uncertainties of the stock market and at an all-time high, some people are talking about what is the future and how reliable. One thing that's been stable through the decades is real estate. There's a restricted number, a limited amount of it. And speaking of that, there are different types of investment: land versus what we call improved property, and then you've got medical versus some of the others like restaurants. And tell us a little bit about. And by the way, can we just go back to triple net versus net lease? What's the difference between triple net and net lease?
Typically, when somebody says net lease, that's what they're referring to is triple net.
Triple net, the same synonym.
But the triple net means the first net is net of taxes, property taxes, means the tenant pays it. The second net is that the tenant pays the property insurance. Third net is maintenance.
Okay.
And so triple net means that the tenant is paying all three.
Mm-hmm.
But most cases, when somebody just says net leased real estate, it's referring to triple net.
Okay. So now you have land versus improved, and then medical. I know you've been telling us so that medical is very good for the future. Medical office as a rental. Tell us a little bit about why you think that, and what is the forecast for that.
Medical industry is growing phenomenally here. And it's a newcomer in the net leased real estate field because hospitals have gotten into creating groups of doctors that they can count on bringing people and sick people and for surgeries in their facility. And so what the hospitals have started doing is buying the practice, and then they pay from the doctors, and then they net lease the buildings in many cases. So, and they're very stable because in many cases it's the hospital, the big hospital, that is backing the deal. And so that makes it good.
Restaurants are another form. How is that? Is that growing? It looks like there's a restaurant popping up everywhere.
Yes, and because of the millennials, and they eat out far more, and the the dollars being spent is increasing and has been increasing for the last 5-6 years.
And land as an investment, that can be also valuable for an appreciated standpoint, but not much income producing necessarily.
Correct. Most of the time, land is for an investment is in two forms. One is speculative, meaning somebody thinks it's something because growth and expansion means.
Okay, I have to hold you right there, Howard. We're at the break. We'll be right back. We'll continue right where we left off, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Lou Wieland, and I'm sitting here with Howard Torbett in the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia Properties Gwinnett office. He is a designated CCIM, one of the premier experts in commercial real estate in the world. There are only 13,000 people who have that throughout the entire world. And what a great privilege it is to just learn from you. And we talked a little bit about, by the way, if you missed any of this, it's on my website, AtlantaCommunityProfiles.com. And if you'd like to see and watch our show live, just go to Louis A. Whelan Realtor and like that page, and you'll be able to watch our show live. Or, it'll be on Facebook. So you can see it. If you miss it live, you can see it taped there. But we were talking about different forms of real estate and restaurants. We talked about restaurants being popular with millenniums, especially. They don't cook. I know my sons and his family almost never cook. And more and more people are getting into that. Our producer is a millennium over there sitting over there laughing. He can relate. He probably doesn't even know what a frying pan is, do you, Christian? But anyway, I know what a frying pan is in our generation, but the millennium may not. So you think that restaurants might be a good investment, or do you buy restaurants and rent them out to owners, or how does that work?
The cap rate right now on the cap rate on restaurants is very low right now, which means that the value that they're selling for in relation to the income that it generates is the value is high based in reference to that income. And so right now, I don't recommend that as an investment. But yes, if you've got land and lots, that's a great buyer for lots because they're looking, and for commercial lots. But I don't. It's because of the cap rate, because of it's just not a sound investment right now.
Cap rate to the amateur or the layman would be what, the rate of return, right?
Well, it's one way of. It's one indication of return.
Okay, one indication. So, speaking of return and investment performance, I don't know, people who are watching this live can see this, but it's a diagram of depicting different types of a return one can anticipate with commercial real estate. And maybe you could just describe that to people who can't see it. But there are 4 basic aspects.
Well, what I do, I call that my orange juice model. And what it primarily does is helps an investor, and it also helps me understand what the investor is wanting to accomplish when they invest their money. And sometimes, and there are 4 categories, and what I do is I tell them you've got an orange, and the orange only has 8 ounces of juice. Now you have 4 glasses that hold 4 ounces apiece. Now, if you've got 8 ounces in your orange, now where are you going to put your juice? And one of the glasses is called cash, and it's everybody knows what cash is. What is your interest? What do you want most from your investment? The second glass is going to be cash flow. And like the cash is appreciation. That's how I account it, because with investments, you're looking for cash, but cash is always down the road. So appreciation is cash. Then cash flow is monthly income. What do you want from your investment? The third thing is the tax savings. Many people are in a high tax bracket, and real estate still is one of the best tax has some of the best tax advantages of any investment.
Yes, Donald Trump will tell you about
Yeah. Yes, very true. And then the other is safety or risk. Now, that means how much risk are you willing to take when you invest your money? Some people say, I don't want much risk. So you put a lot more juice in that glass. For example, somebody that's 60 and approaching retirement. They say, I don't want to take much risk. Good. Then it helps then to understand they want limited risk real estate investments. And so then you can tailor the investment based on what they're wanting to accomplish with their investing.
It's been fantastic having you on the show, Howard, and we're going to be doing some seminars and inviting the public. It will not be any charge, and you will learn a lot and about this as an investment. If you have property to sell or lease, please give us a call or an email, lou@louwhelan.com. We'd be happy to help you market your product, your whether land or real property or investment property, or however you want to, whatever the case may be. And if you're looking for an investment, please give us an email, lou@louwhelan.com. We would love to be of assistance. And stay tuned as we go through the show in the future. We'll be definitely giving you quite a bit of profile information on commercial and investment real estate property. And so now stay tuned for Dr. Bill Williams, Chairman and CEO of Swanee Dental Care, our dental health expert.